Hey, I'm Dan, and this is Dan's Planes. Today we're talking the SIG Something Extra. So this is actually my third one. The first one I had was an ARF. It was also purple. That's my favorite of the colors. And I had an OS 46AX on it, and I just flew the covering off that thing. I absolutely love that thing. Almost every time I land, I've got a big smile on my face. And after I flew the covering off it and made all my patches with clear packing tape as much as I could, then they had discontinued it. But at my local hobby shop, I happened to find another one that was purple. Couldn't believe it. So, as I say, I'd rather be lucky than good. So I was happy to find that one. So I picked that up and put on a Evolution 52 on it. And again, flew it for years and flew the covering off of it. You know, first the clear part of the covering comes off, and then the purple part or the white part will come off. Then you either patch it with, I forget what kind of covering they use on this particular one, or if you've got seams coming up around the edges, you use clear packing tape. So I flew the heck out of that one until the wood was oil soaked. I had sealed it in the engine compartment, but ultimately there's going to be a fuel leak at some point, which then ends up getting fuel inside here. And then when the wind comes along here, it whips behind here, and the oil goes between these two pieces. So it just gets soaked. It also gets soaked underneath here, and then it'll get soaked along here and then go down the edges. So this is number 3. Somebody at the club had kit built it and was, I think, looking to sell it on behalf of the builder. So it had a mount for glow, but this time around, I'm tired of getting fuel-soaked airplanes, especially ones that just absolutely bring huge joy to me. I'm always smiling when I land this thing. So I went in and picked it up and decided to make it electric. So I thought I could quickly whip this out, taking a break from my P40. I had some company over the Christmas and New Year's holiday, and I thought maybe I could just whip out simple plane. But as expected, it unexpectedly took longer to do than I had planned. So the covering had to be shrunk up. It was pretty loose, so got all that done. You'll notice there's this clear section here, and that clear section housed this thing. Here it is. It housed this thing, which I don't quite know what that is. It's got mode, 2 arrows. One of them goes to an X, one of them goes to a plus. And then it has 4 wires coming out of it. And both of them, it had split into 2 wires and 2 wires. I think these are JXT connections, I think. So I asked around and nobody was for sure what it was. A person on RC groups had a thought that he remembered from years and years ago, that there was a sensor that kind of looked like that would sense the brightness of the sky and darkness of the earth to help keep the model upright. So not sure what it was, but decided not to remove the clear on here. And then there's a hatch here on the back. So when I did this, I tried an experiment. I had some various servos laying around. They actually came out of a Edge 540T, and they were JR servos and a mixture of different kinds. And I tried using two different kinds in the ailerons. I've never done that before, thinking I'd want the same kind. And sure enough, between the two different servos and then having two different arms on it, I was getting two different deflections. And normally, I've always had Hitec and Futaba servos in the past, so I really didn't have any JR servo arms. So pulled those back out and replaced them with Futaba S3003s. Then I still used JR for elevator and rudder, but again, I didn't have enough throw on my, I think it was my elevator. Yes, my elevator. So I needed a longer arm, which I didn't have. So I either had to order some JR arms, or I was going to have to swap out the servo, which is what I did to another S3003. So did that. Where the push rod comes out for the elevator, which is on the other side over here, you've got a nylon push rod, but then you've got a metal push rod that goes into it, probably about 6 inches. Well, that was binding up on this exit hole here, so I had to do some carving out of that. I guess once the metal was put inside the nylon, it just made the overall diameter just too much. So now I need to throw a little CA and accelerator, or CA and baking soda, on top of these threads to make makeshift nuts. I've had good luck with that in the past. Then, what else? I've removed the engine mounts, and there was black, I want to say paint, that rubbed right off. I don't know what the deal was with that. It just, I don't know, but it just rubbed right off. So I rubbed that off as best as I can, cleaned it off the best as I could. I ordered a GForce D5055 560 kV motor. And I want to say I'm planning on using 12 to 13 inch props. And I also picked up a Hobbywing SkyWalker 80 amp ESC. So the motor is supposed to be 60 size. So this is supposed to be 40 to 50 size. So I wanted to have unlimited vertical if possible. And I just wanted a ton of power to be throwing this thing all around the sky. So that's where I am so far. Taking me longer than expected. What else is new? So now I've got to fit this engine mount in here and get the engine mounted. And I've cut off the edges here, which is this cover here that I'm going to put 4 magnets on. That way, that'll be my battery hatch, and I'll still most likely have to pull this screw out and take this hatch off to change batteries, and it'll run at 6S. So that's the plan for now. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Dan from Dan's Planes. I just want to share some content about RC planes, something I've been passionate about since childhood. I'm hoping I can teach something to someone, I can start some discussion and learn some things from others. So let's just have some fun and learn some things together. If you enjoyed what you watched, it would really help me out if you could like, subscribe, and share. And if you feel that it helped you out in some way, or it might help future viewers, I'd really appreciate it if you'd visit my Patreon page and become a patron. It's like throwing a dollar tip into a guitar case when you pass by. It helps to fund future content and future projects that I'll be working on. I plan to show some past content. I have some other flights and I have some fly-in events that I've been to. And I also plan to show future flights and future repairs, as well as building ARFs, and if I can ever get back to it, building my top flight Spitfire. So there's a lot of content to come, but it's viewers like you that are able to support what I'm doing, and by doing that, I'm able to spend more time creating that content in the future. So I'd really appreciate it. But either way, thanks for watching, and thanks for any support, and I wish you blue skies and good speed.